Welcome to another edition of Bear Down with Brian Jeffries. That would be me. The gentleman next door is Steve Walker, head beach volleyball coach at the University of Arizona. Done an outstanding job building the newest program on campus into one of the nation's best. And Steve, before we talk in depth about your team, this time of the year, of course, normally you'd be playing.
Right.
All sports have been postponed, suspended. Most importantly, though, I want to check in, make sure you, your family, your staff, and your players are doing well.
I appreciate you asking, Brian, and thank you. We are as adjusted as one could hope for, given these unusual circumstances, and really feel blessed and fortunate to be in a position to have the resources to be okay during these unusual times. But yeah, my staff, student athletes, everyone is doing okay, and of course, I wish you and your family the same.
Well, thank you very much. So your team was 10-2, off to a great start, headed for huge things this season. As disappointing as it was to see the season end right there, what had you seen from your team through 10 matches that gave you the most optimism about the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think there are a few things we can really touch on. One, this was our largest and maybe one of our most talented rosters to date. And from that standpoint, the chemistry was just terrific. Our kids, they got along so well. Our seniors were really stepped in that leadership role and have been doing a nice job developing our younger players. And I feel like we were really in a good place, really in a good position to kind of take off. You know, every season, it's pretty similar from the standpoint that we get about 2 or 3 weekends in. And then we hit our spring recess. And it's right after spring recess, you always see our team's performance start to really ramp up. You know what you have, you make some slight adjustments, maybe with lineups, pair numbering, things of that nature. And I really think we were in a good place to really, again, kind of take off. And unfortunately, we won't be able to do that this year, but really loved the group, work ethic, the talent was there, depth was there, leadership was there. So yeah, there were a few things to really point to that we liked at that point when the season was cut short.
So I mentioned that beach volleyball is a new sport. It started back 2013 when you arrived and launched the program at Arizona. Take us through the building process, really from scratch up to the point now where you've been one of the better programs in the country.
Yeah, interesting. Quite a bit of heavy lifting in the beginning, and it was the thing that's so different now, Brian, and something maybe we didn't plan for, and maybe we're even a few years ahead of where I thought we would be, is that the juniors level, the junior circuit where we would identify and recruit prospects has really just blown up across the country. And you're even seeing that with our program. We have a number of not only in-state, but from the very fine city of Tucson coming to our program that are currently on our roster and coming in next year and beyond. So on the juniors level, the sport has really just taken off. And so in the very beginning, there was no blueprint. Where were we going to pull from? Where were we going to recruit from? What parts of the country? Were there even juniors clubs? And so now those things are really formalized. And just like any other sport in the conference, we're out here competing against the very best. And so, yeah, I think in the beginning it was, it was really, really fun in the beginning from the standpoint that there was really no blueprint. You had to kind of go out and uncover every stone and find those prospects. And it was a whole heck of a lot of fun, and it still is to this day.
Outstanding. So you have a background in indoor volleyball. You worked with Dave Rubio for a while, et cetera, and some other places. You grew up in Southern California. When did beach volleyball first enter your life?
I would say during my high school years. I come from a really tradition-rich area and program. I went to Newport Harbor High School. The coach there, Danny Glenn, he coached a few players maybe you've heard of, Misty May, April Ross, who've brought home some medals. And so I played for that same gentleman, and he was instrumental in my career and just a fantastic coach and leader. And it was during those days I really started to kind of get the bug, as they call it. And so never thought it would turn out to be a career, but here we are. And I think in those high school years and eventually leading to kind of a semi-pro, maybe even a little bit of a professional career, if you would.
Sure. Is there a difference in recruiting an indoor volleyball athlete versus a beach volleyball athlete?
Well, I don't think you change too much with regard to some of your principles that you stand for in your program. You want to make sure you have the right kind of people first. And so that's always the first thing I look for. And one of the things that I pulled from Coach Rubio in my time with him is that you want to make sure you recruit the right kind of people, the people you want to work with for hopefully 4 years. And so from that standpoint, it doesn't change. And of course, athletic ability always has to be there. But yeah, without a doubt, it's a different ball game than the indoor game. And got to have a well-rounded skill set. Got to be comfortable at the most uncomfortable times. And I think that is really inherent in our sport. And so when I'm out there recruiting and evaluating prospects, those are exactly the same things I'm looking for.
You mentioned you have some seniors on your roster. As you look ahead to next year, what do you see ahead? I mean, the NCAA has allowed seniors to come back if they choose. Have you made any decisions there yet?
Yeah, well, it wasn't hard for me. You know, those 5 seniors, you know, they're our leadership council. They've done a tremendous job with taking the younger players under their wing and trying to show them the way, the Wildcat way. And so I've had a few commitments from them, and hopefully get a couple more and can bring them all back. And you know, without a doubt, we'll have to navigate some uncharted waters with regard to a larger roster. But you know, I feel like they deserve another opportunity, and they're a very special group in their own right. So. But again, we tack on another very talented recruiting class, several from right here in the state of Arizona. And so competition will, you know, it'll be there just like every other program on campus. And so, but I really like the group. I like the group that we have. I like the prospects that we're bringing in, not only committed, but verbally committed. And look for Arizona beach volleyball to, again, ramp up one more time.
Beach volleyball, of course, is part of the Olympics as well. What, as of today, what would you say are the strongest countries in beach volleyball?
Oh, it's got to be the U.S., Brazil. I mean, it's right there probably with football or soccer, as they might call it down there. But yeah, but the interesting part, Brian, is that, and you started to see this around the 2008 games, the 2012 games, was that some of the landlocked countries, maybe some that you weren't too familiar with, they were not only performing well, but knocking on the door of the medal stand. So, you know, your traditional countries, Spain, Brazil, U.S., Canada's made a strong showing recently. Those are some of your stalwarts, but everyone's coming. It's a fun time, and you know, unfortunately, we'll have to push that back another year. But yeah, I look forward to seeing that how it plays out and how many more countries will come on the scene.
All right. Beach volleyball is a team sport, so with the inability now to practice together, how do your players try and stay in shape?
Yeah, you know, fortunately for our players, they're in parts of the country where, just like Arizona, we're having terrific weather, so they are able to get out. You know, Chris Rounds, our strength and conditioning coach, has provided them a terrific program, so they have opportunity. And we got to just make do, but they've been able to stay active, and we're staying connected. We had a team conference call today. We had our Zoom meeting and brought in sports and clinical psychology into the mix as well. And so we're doing a number of things to ensure that our student athletes are being taken care of during these times.
How about at home? You got some young ones there. Are they is it fun having dad around?
It is. You know, I always try to make a point to be home for dinner and put the cell phone down and make sure I'm present and being a good father. And, you know, our daughter Marley, she had her 8th birthday yesterday, so we had a quarantine birthday. So we went out, and I think that birthday is going to continue on into the weekend, but she's out right now and driving around and saying hello to a few of her friends. So, but yeah, we're staying active. Everyone's happy and healthy. And, but yeah, it's been great, Brian. This is quality time and really connecting with my wife, Melissa, and the kids. And yeah, it seems like we're getting into a pretty good routine here.
Well, Steve, we wish you the best, and congratulations on, I'll say, a great start. I mean, the program, as I said earlier, has been elevated now to national heights, and we can hardly wait to see you back on the beach again.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we look forward to getting back out there and representing U of A with the utmost class and dignity, and wish everyone happy and healthy stay during these times.
Right. Steve Walker, head beach volleyball coach at the University of Arizona. And thanks for joining us. Bear down with Brian Jeffries.